Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Mark chapter 16, verses 14 through 16. Afterward he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at meat, and upbraided them with their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they believed not them which had seen him after he was risen. And he said unto them, Go ye into all the world, and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, get on board.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you up on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on the Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Latonia, Georgia. We hear a lot of things about, even as we read, it says that every man must bear his own burden. But when we get down into certain things, we find out that as a team, there comes a time when we have to help bear one another's burden. When you look at how the military operates, they have a thought process of no one being left behind. Well, understand that at some point, if that's going to be the case, then somebody's going to have to carry somebody. There's going to be a point where one of your members is not going to be able to walk or carry itself, and then the other members are going to have to kick in. Now, is there a total revolting at the point of when that happens? This is something that we have to examine, because in a war there may be many battles. Okay, and if we are folding at battles, then we're going to have some serious problems when it comes to all-out war, because those are battle after battle after battle. And before we declare that we will not help our brother bear his burden, what happened when it comes to the time that we end up with a leg that don't work and somebody got to help carry us? Let's begin today's sermon in Numbers chapter 21. Numbers chapter 21, and we're going to read verses 1 through 9.
And when King Arad, the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard tell that Israel came by the way of the spies, then he fought against Israel and took some of them prisoners. And Israel vowed a vow unto Yahweh and said, if you will indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities.
You know, a lot of times when what pushes us to do some things is we have to be behind a brick wall. See, We won't come out and make covenants or do things on a higher level until we get pushed. It says they fought against Israel and took some of them prisoners. See, now we're ready to make some covenants. Now we're ready to say some things out of our mouth. But until certain things happen, we're kind of funny. We're gonna try to hold out. See, we some tough cookies. So we're gonna get to the point. I think I can do this on my own. Until we realize we're not gonna be able to do it. Now we're ready to make some covenant. So sometimes Yahweh have to go ahead and push us up against that wall. So we'll go ahead and make some covenants and utter some things out of our mouths. Go ahead.
And Yahweh hearkened to the voice of Israel and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah.
Right. Yahweh hearkened unto the voice of Israel. How do you help persuade your Elohim to hearken or listen to your voice? There was a covenant that was made. Every time we say this constantly, the Most High covenant Elohim of Israel. See, we just hope he hears us without us making a covenant. See, that way we can get him to do something without us saying that we're going to do anything in return. See, that's the way we try to negotiate. So we throw our first level of negotiating, please come save, please. I said, please come save a brother. That don't have, I won't come over here no more. All right. You knew you weren't supposed to be there to start with. Go ahead.
And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spake against Elohim and against Moshe. Wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness?
Now you see, we are a bunch of bickering people as soon as things don't go our way. And the people speak against Elohim. You can't get no higher than speaking against Elohim. But understand, they were already speaking against Elohim when they spoke against Moshe. See, we think we got to speak against Elohim directly. All you got to do is speak against the path that he's laid out. You spoke against him. Yahweh's not going to come and speak to you directly. So then he has servants for that. When we then decide that we're not going to, not only are we not going to listen to the servants, but we're going to speak against the servants. We don't understand that we're speaking against Elohim. They spoke against Elohim as soon as they said, Moshe was doing this and he was doing that. No. They weren't speaking against Moshe. They were going higher than Moshe. They were speaking against the one who gave him the job. Go ahead.
For there is no bread, neither there any water, and our soul loathed this light bread.
We hate this stuff Yahweh gave us. This stuff ain't got no seasoning in it. I mean, he just gonna drop us down this bread. I mean, didn't he know we needed hot sauce? He didn't drop down no Texas Pete. We put that on everything. Okay, go ahead.
And Yahweh sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died.
Now, you have to start, there's a thought process that happens here that you have to wonder, why would Yahweh even make a fiery serpent? Then there's some things that you have to look into. All right. So they spake against Yahweh and Moshe. All right. And they said, we hate this light bread. That's what they call this light bread. We don't like, I don't know what heavy bread is, but light bread. Mm-hmm. They said this stuff this ain't that oven, that hot stuff. This is different. Go ahead.
Therefore the people came to Moshe and said, we've sinned.
The same person they were speaking against, just so you understand the nature of Israel. Okay? Anybody that want any charge in Israel, you have to understand the nature of Israel. After we bite you, we gonna come to you to help us feel better about biting you. Understand your people. Understand when you're in the middle of your pep rally understand. Go ahead.
For we have spoken against Yahweh and against you. Pray unto Yahweh that he take away the serpents from us. And Moshe prayed for the people.
So the same one who they talked about is the one who has to go and pray to Elohim to take away the serpents. And the serpents came because they spake against Yahweh and Moshe. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, make you a fiery serpent, and set it up on a pole. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he looks upon it, shall live.
Now, this right here is just interesting development as to why he would even have him build this. Go ahead, read verse 9.
And Moshe made a serpent of brass, and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived.
All right, so the first thing is, you look at a situation of a serpent. Why would he have him make a serpent? This just don't sit right with you when you first read it, because as far as we know, all serpents are bad. But there's something to that. Let's go to Genesis chapter 49. Because the first thing we have to really get is why he even made it in the first place. Genesis 49, and I want to read verses 16 and 17.
Verse 16. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that bites the horse's heels, so that his rider shall fall backward.
All right, what does Dan mean? What is he doing? Judge. Judge. Daniel means what? Judge of Elohim. Dan is judge. Now you gotta understand why they want to get rid of the tribe of Dan. They're trying to get rid of judgment. And they want to make you judgment. That's the only one they want to make you, is judgment. And they want to get rid of judgment. And they get rid of judgment by getting rid of you. Interesting, huh? Okay, now let's go to Exodus chapter 7. Because it really threw me. It never really sat right with me. Why would he make them a snake on a pole? But they have to then get judgment for the stuff that came out of their mouth. Now, what does a snake harm with? Its mouth. The stuff that they were harming Yahweh and Moshe with came out of their mouths. Snake. But we have equated all snakes as a evil thing. Why would Yahweh then say you're going to get healed by looking at a snake? Exodus chapter 7, and I want to read verses 1 through 13.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, see, I have made you a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet. You shall speak all that I command you, and Aaron your brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Israel out of his land. And I'll harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt.
Understand, there's some people that you believe, or that they even believe, that they have made a decision that they are not going to deal with something, and it is actually Yahweh who has hardened their heart. They have gone so long in that way that he won't let them return. They believe that it's their choice, and the choice was never theirs. Go ahead.
But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt.
Right. He will not hearken unto you, because at this point, I got some stuff I'm finna do. See, I've been practicing some moves that I'm finna use on Pharaoh. He can't just repent in round number 1. I ain't even tried my suplex yet. All right, I ain't even did. I've been practicing this move. You know how many times I done body slam the Milky Way just so I can do this to Pharaoh? And you think I'm finna let him say sorry in ring one? No, 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 no. Step back, step back. Now he looked like he finna tap out. Bagger, let him get up. Let him get up. No, 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 no. I'm finna make an example out of him. You know, you find out them people who test the wrong individuals. You know, like the dude that says, you know, your mama call you Cassius, I'm gonna call you Cassius. It wasn't a good day for the guy who said he wasn't gonna call Muhammad Ali. He said he was gonna call him Cassius. Your mama named Cassius. You know, it sounded real good at the pre-fight show. It sounded, oh my God, that sounds so good on the mic. Your mama named me Cassius. I'm gonna call you Cassius. Oh man, that sounds so good. Until he starts wailing up against your head. But he won't, he look like he's going down. Give him a second. Give him a second. Get yourself together. You need a minute? You need a towel? Somebody give him a drink. Then he go back at your head some more. And he start at, he go right back to the foundation. Start talking to him, white big. What's my name? What's my name? What's my name? Yahweh said, I'm not gonna let you repent. Man, I got moves. You ain't even see my grounding pound yet. I've been working on my grappling. I can't just knock you out. No. So Yahweh hardens individuals' hearts so they will not repent, so he can stretch out his judgment. What?
But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt, and bring forth mine armies and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments.
Judgments. Okay, go ahead.
And the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh, when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt, and bring out the children of Israel from among them. And Moshe and Aaron did as Yahweh commanded them, so did they. And Moshe was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 years old, when they spake unto Pharaoh. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, When Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, Show a miracle for you.
Now, this is the miracle that he gave. This is the beginning of things. Listen, go ahead.
Then you shall say unto Aaron, Take your rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent.
Why?
Judgment.
The very first miracle he does is throw down your stick, throw down your rod, your staff. Understand? What is the staff? The staff is when a king has something, he has his pole that is a scepter. That is a symbol of his power, just like the crown. Throw down your staff, and it shall become a serpent. It's going to become judgment. I put judgment in your hands. Go ahead.
And Moshe and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and they did as Yahweh had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers. Now the magician of Egypt, they also did in like manner with their enchantments.
Right, they found a way to do a sleight of hand and throw down some sticks and make serpents come. Go ahead.
For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. And he hardened Pharaoh's heart, and that he hearkened not unto them, as Yahweh had said.
Right, because Yahweh had some business to tend to, and he needed that hardened heart, so he would keep doing it. But here we go now. There's two manner of serpents there. You first have the serpent that comes from Aaron throwing down his rod. Then you have some other serpents that come from the magicians. But the serpent that came from Aaron ate up theirs. Now here we start to find out that there's differences in serpents. See, they have a whole group of snakes that are not poisonous. The black snake, it eats The poisonous snakes. Now, we the kind of people that, oh no, if any snakes around me, they must all die. They must die. They must die immediately. I like no snakes at all. If anything move without legs, it's got to go away from here. I don't care. It's got to die. Wait a minute. There are two manner of serpents here. The black snake eat the poisonous snake. The black snake is the good one. That's the one that eats all the other ones. The other ones normally have bright colors to let you know it's poisonous. The black one eat that one. It neutralizes the bad snake. What we just read. The good snake ate the bad one. Now here's that spiritual quandary. How do you know when you got a good snake? Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 18. We were told to be as wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. Now, do we get rid of everything that look like it slithers? You might have a cousin, a homeboy, who might you say, man, you don't move right. But you watch some of his actions and you say, you know what, he operates different. It might be a good snake. Put him in a room with a bad one and see if he eat him. 2 Kings chapter 18. We're going to read verses 1 through 7.
Now it came to pass in the 3rd year of Hoshea, son of Elah, king of Israel, that Hezekiah the son of Ahaz, king of Yehudah, began to reign. 25 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Abiah, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, according to all that David his father did. He removed the high places.
Now, if you listen, verse 3, and he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, according to all that David his father did. How a man operates decides who his father is. The ones who don't operate correctly. He said, oh, no. Your father is the adversary of the devil. Why? Because those are the actions that you followed. Go ahead.
He removed the high places and break the images and cut down the groves.
Now understand, you're making a lot of enemies doing this. See, a person who decides that they're going to do something and they're going to do it for the glory of Yahweh, that they're going to do it for the order, they're going to make a lot of enemies. Do you understand that every last one of these made huge groups of enemies? He removed the high places. Whole bunch of pissed off people. And break the images. Now understand, these are all different people. These people deal with the high places. These people deal with the images. Each one of these are different groups of people. Now they're gathering together. Because this is what pissed off people do. You know, I don't like sock. He said, you know, we can't wear, you know, the short dresses in there. You know what? I don't like him either, because I wore a wife beater one time and I had to oil myself all the way up and sock sit me outside. I don't like him either. You know what? One time I had my whole cleavage out and sock got mad at me, you know, and then put me out. So now all them together, they're like, they got a little picket sign. We hate sock. We hate sock. But they don't hate me for the same reason. They all hate me for something different, but it doesn't matter. See? You know, my enemy's enemy is my new best friend. They are gathered together in like hatred. But this is the path you walk. Understand something. If you're going to be a priest, understand you got that job that got that smoke. You ain't about that, get another job. Get another job. Because this job going to get you that smoke. Go ahead.
And break in pieces the brazen serpent that Moshe had made. For unto those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it. And he called it Nehushtan. He trusted in Yahweh Elohim of Israel, so that after him was none like him among all the kings of Yehudah, nor any that were before him. For he clave to Yahweh, and departed not from following him.
Now, understand something now. This is something that Yahweh had built, right? For verse 4. He removed the high places, break the images, cut down the groves, break in pieces the brazen serpent that Moshe had made. Wait a minute now. Not only was this an anointed thing, Moshe was told to build this. The brother broke it down. He didn't just tear it down, he broke it in pieces. Wait a minute. So now we have to get into a place where something becomes a burden. Now, do we deal with that according to law? Do we deal with that according to this or that? Wait a minute. They don't have any law that tells them that they have the right to break something that Yahweh ordained to be made. Yahweh told them to make this. Moshe made this out of direction. But this is already a good man who we're talking about, and this good man has had it broken into pieces. Now, should he be judged for this? Keep reading.
For he clave to Yahweh and departed not from following him, but kept his commandments, which Yahweh commanded Moshe. And Yahweh was with him, and he prospered whithersoever he went forth.
Right. And people want to know why, no matter what happens, when this guy do something, it work out. Did you read the lines before that? How he departed not from the things that Yahweh commanded him? Go ahead.
And he rebelled against the king of Assyria and served him not.
So now we then have a concept of things that we have to deal with. Because there are certain things that are wrong, not because they are written in the law, but because they are causing a problem unto Israel. This Nehushtan is causing a problem unto Israel. Although it was commanded by Yahweh to be built, although it was built by Moshe, it has become a problem and it's got to be pulled down. Why? Because now they worshiping the thing. So then when we start dealing with certain aspects that you can tell that'll be in the mind of the people, well, you know what, that ain't in the law. What does the law allow for them to pull down the Nehushtan? Who gave them that right? But it caused a problem to Israel. Anything that is a stumbling block before your brother, remove it. See, that's sometimes we read the law and then get caught up by it. This is why you had some of us pushing, you can't do this on the Sabbath day. Wait a minute. Is it good to do good on the Sabbath day? Let's go to Romans chapter 16. You see, as time goes along, some things may come up and you will have to deal with those occurrences as opposed to, or in a way that you are keeping a stumbling block from being before Israel. And it's not that it's written in the law. When it comes down to the situation of the daughters of Zelophehad, there was no law concerning if a man died and land is left to his daughters. That situation presented itself. They had to come before Moshe, and then an amendment was made to the law. Romans chapter 16, and let's start this at verse 13.
Salute Rufus, chosen in the Adonai, and his mother and mine. Salute Ascrinitus, Phlegon, Hermas, Petrobus, Hermes, and the brethren which are with them. Salute Philogus, and Julia, Nereus, and his sister, and Olympas.
Now we can listen to these names and know where they at, right? Okay, go ahead.
And all the saints which are with them. Salute one another with an holy kiss. The churches of the Mashiach salute you.
Now, This is one of the things that we have to look at, this greeting one another with a holy kiss. First of all, we have to deal with this whole culture. We're talking about, the Euro Gentiles. If you look among the world, there are people who still walk up and greet each other, with a cheek kiss, things like that. So understand the culture amongst the people that he's even talking to. It's amazing. Sometimes we'll take something from one part and we'll then push that along every culture in this book. Keep reading.
Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which you have learned, and avoid them.
All right. So now, this is why this part right here is interesting. Greet one another with a holy kiss, but mark them which cause divisions. Now, there are certain situations that the whole act causes a division. Not just an individual person. When you notice that one thing keeps causing a division, you learn, you know what? Let's separate that thing, because that thing is causing an issue. Go ahead.
For they that are such serve not our Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple.
All right. Now, there are certain other things that mention the holy kiss, and I want you to read those for me. Read the note in 1 Corinthians 16 and verse 19.
The churches of Asia salute you. Aquila and Priscilla salute you much in the Adonai with the church that is in their house. All the brethren greet you one another with an holy kiss.
All right. Go to the next one in 2 Corinthians 13.
Finally, brethren, farewell. Be perfect, be of good comfort, be of one mind, live in peace, and the Elohim of love and peace shall be with you. Greet one another with an holy kiss, and all the saints salute you. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 26. Greet all the brethren with an holy kiss.
All right. So we hear all of these things about the holy kiss. There came a point that we had to forbid the co-ed embracing between brothers and sisters. And people say, well, you know what? That's against Scripture. That is completely against Scripture. I can read in Scripture all the time where we're supposed to, embrace with a holy kiss. 9 out of 10 of every last one of those, their brothers mentioned. What's funny is I ain't seen a brother kiss a brother yet. What's brother? I ain't seen not now one of them. So then you got to go back to, if there's something that causes your brother to fall. Now, here's where we get to the individualized part, that we have not become a family. What we think about is what makes us fall. And if it don't bother me, then it's all right. Well, wait a minute. Is it just about what makes you fall? What about what makes him fall? What about what makes her fall? Is it just about you? Are you the only person whom we need to consider in this family? If it's okay with you, then it must be okay with us all. Then if you got the power to do such and such, then we all must have that power. Is that not a tad bit arrogant on our part? To believe that everybody has your strength and to believe that everybody has your same weakness. Is that not arrogance? So then the things that we deal with are according to what may be a stumbling block to the body. Not about what may be a stumbling block to just you individually. It is greater than us in a singular fashion. It is about what becomes a stumbling block to the body. And when you notice that, you got a brother shalom and another brother's wife, and this shalom is taking like a minute and a half, somebody gonna die in here. That shalom taking too long. Ain't nobody supposed to shalom that long right there. When somebody shalom and then they look like they need a shower after. The brother got there washing his feet. What happened? What happened? Somebody need a foot wash after the what kind of shalom was that? I don't think that's the kind of peace you were supposed to get. Then you realize, no. This is not about individual. This is about the body. You know, you talk about this Greek with a holy kiss. I actually had a brother to kiss me. I was discombobulated as hell. I didn't know. I didn't know what the swing of. Bruh. Hey, I don't know where you're from, but hey, look, hey, bruh, and I wasn't ready. Okay, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I hadn't been in the Word long enough. I hadn't studied long enough. I didn't have that level of anointing. I wasn't ready. But praise Yahweh, I just locked up. I just was still. And there were people that stood by, and that adds to your problem when people say, damn, he just kissed you, son. Hey, man, don't talk about it. Don't. It was good to just lock up because I didn't know what my response was gonna be right there. I think Kish was there. Weren't you there when that happened? Was you there when that happened? You know what I'm saying? Let's read Romans chapter 14. Romans chapter 14. We're going to start that at verse 1.
Him that is weak in the faith receive you, but not to doubtful disputations.
Okay, so then we have levels of how we're going to deal with things. Even when it comes down to, it says that every man must bear his own burden, but then it says that if a brother compels you to go with him a mile, go with him too. So wait a minute. What is being said here? That yes, we're supposed to help one another, but help don't mean that I'm going to carry you while you do nothing. Help means you're going to make some effort and then I'm going to match the effort. But I ain't doing it for you. I'm doing it with you. Do understand the difference. You don't get to sit at home, do whatever you want to do, play video games all night, and then come in. Hey, Sock, let me get your notes. Hey, bro, can I borrow your pencil? Hey, man, where your charger at? You got you had the same time to prepare for coming in here that I did. You did all what the hell you wanted to do last night. Then come in here and ask me for everything that you should have prepared for last night. Hell to the no. I'm not giving you none of that. I ain't giving you no pencil. I ain't giving you no charger. I ain't giving you my book. So don't get this twisted. That we just gonna carry, folks. When folks, know they got these caviar and champagne wishes, got that Kool-Aid credit, and then got beer money, and then go out and get some extravagant things. We're not carrying that. We're not carrying that. Hell to the no. You got to understand what a line is. I will help my brother bear his burdens. But if you go out and get a burden that is too heavy for you, that burden going to be on top of you in the morning. You're going to have to learn. Stop doing that. And you're going to learn in the morning because we're going to leave you there tonight. Go ahead, bro.
For one believes that he may eat all things. Another, who is weak, eats herbs. Let not him that eats despise him that eats not. And let not him which eats not judge him that eats. For Elohim has received him. Who are you that judgest another man's servant? To his own master he stands or falls.
And do not get it twisted between meat. Meat is food. Flesh is animal. Don't get it twisted and let somebody tell you, you see that? This is why I can eat the pork chop smothered and covered. It said, judge you not in meat. Meat is food. Don't get that twisted when somebody offer you that pork chop or them scrimps and tell you it's all right.
See, I knew this. See, first of all, God cleansed the food right down there. I can show you in the New Testament what God cleansed food. You know what I'm saying? So this is the cleanest scrimp you ever had right here. I prayed over there.
Believe that if you want to. And all of them get the same speech later on in life. If you keep eating this pork, you're going to die. Well, God cleaned the pork. How in the hell we all get that same speech? Make sure granddaddy don't get no bacon. And you see him sneaking around the corner trying to get some bacon. Wait a minute. If God cleansed it, why is it killing him? Right. Read.
Yes, he shall be holding up, for Elohim is able to make him stand. One man esteems one day above another. Another esteems every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind.
Mm-hmm.
He that regards the day regards it onto the Adonai.
Right. So that whole people be going, are you going to do the new moon on the sliver? Are you going to do it on the dark moon? Do it whatever day the people you with do it. I ain't out here trying to chase you to see if you did it on the sliver or you. Actually, I don't bother any of them people. Those questions will come to us. I don't go about going to other people's page or visiting people, congregate. You would be amazed to find out the people who have their own congregations, but they came here first. They knew they were going to start a congregation when they came here. They came here to see how we do it. I ain't never went nowhere else to see how they do it. How you do it is how you do it. You would be amazed. That's not what we do. Go ahead.
He that regards the day regards it unto the Adonai, and he that regards not the day to the Adonai, he does not regard it. He that eats, eats to the Adonai, for he gives Elohim thanks. And he that eats not to the Adonai, he eats not, and gives Elohim thanks. For none of us lives to himself, and no man dies to himself. For whether we live unto the Adonai, and whether we die unto the Adonai. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Adonais. For to this end, Yahshua both died and rose and revived, that he might be Adonai both of the dead and the living. But why does you judge your brother? Or why does you set at naught your brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Yahshua.
Now, we have to understand what what judgment is. First of all, we have this snake. There's a way that we can acknowledge or say something without biting. We have to figure out what that is. See, the serpent is judgment. The serpent bites. How can we deliver this to try to get to a point where we encourage better actions without biting? Go ahead.
Brother, I was always taught coming up is not what you say, it's how you say it. Verse 11, for it is written.
Your folks probably heard an old blues song. That's where you got that from. And knowing your dad, it was probably a blues song. I just playing. Go ahead, bro.
For it is written, as I live, says the Adonai, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to Elohim. So then every one of us shall give account of himself to Elohim. Let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way.
Okay, so now we have to start thinking about what are those stumbling blocks that cause us to fall. We can't just keep falling and then apologizing for the fall. No. Back up to 2 steps before the fall. What were you doing? Don't talk to me about, see, this is where we get stuck on the event. This is how, like, when we graduate, to us, we done made it. We got our diploma. We happy. That's your certification. That's your congratulatory thing. The real power was not in the certificate that you got. The power was in the things that you went through the process. The certificate is for you. Yahweh is in those little things that happen to you on the way to getting the certificate. You think Yahweh give a hoot about your certificate? No, he was in that thing when you fail and all them problems happen. And you got up. And you had to figure out how to do this and how to do that. That's where Yahweh was. Oh no, this is my joy. I'm just showing up at the graduation because you sent me an invitation. I'm not really interested in that. But I mean, congratulations, you finished, you know. But that's not what his congratulatory messages are. That's for you. Enjoy your little certificate. Get your frame, put it on the wall. Go ahead.
I know and am persuaded by the Adonai Yahshua that there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that esteems anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean. But if your brother be grieved with your meat, now walketh you not charitably. Destroy not him with your meat for whom the Mashiach died.
All right, so this brother has an issue with something and you have this thing amongst you. Now, you can stand boldly and say, well, the Lord don't tell me. I don't know why this brother got a problem with asparagus. I don't know, did the brother get, beat up by an asparagus when he was little? Did they fall on him or something? What that got to do with me? But this brother got an issue. Do you now boast yourself and say it ain't in the law that I should take away asparagus? Should I take away my asparagus for which I have grown in my garden? Like, what? Hey, man, I love mushroom, but I know we're not going to have them around Manessa. That brother ate some mushroom. I mean, he was sweating like T.D. Jakes. I ain't never seen nobody sweat that much. Oh, my God. That brother was, boy. I was like, bruh, you got to tell somebody you're allergic to mushroom, bruh. Now, me, myself, every time I order a pizza, every time I order, bro, it's mushrooms on now. It's one of the first things. But see, now I got to think about Manessa, you know, because I don't even think we got enough towels to dry that brother off. we got to wash and dry here though, so we can help you better. You know what I'm saying? If you get into one of them sweats again, but I have to be considerate of that. Why? Mushrooms offend my brother. How I know it offended him? Because he almost passed out in front of my office. That's how I know that mushrooms offend him. He was offended. That caused him some issues. So then I gotta watch that. You got other people got peanut allergies. Then they have to avoid that. Now, I got a family who love some boiled peanuts. I can't stand them. Every time we on the road, Daddy, shut up. I saw the sign. Shut up. I sit in the car. I'm not even going in there. I don't even like the smell of boiled peanut. Then I got to ride back down the road with a car full of. I got 4 people behind me. Stay in here. But that's their thing. But then I have to be careful and tell them, all right, we finna head to the camp. Hey, y'all, wash your hands, put that stuff up. Everybody can't deal with them peanuts like that. Some people got allergies. That offends them. That offends your brother. Put it up. Or is it only about what offends us? Go ahead.
Verse 16. Let not then your good be evil spoken of. For the kingdom of Elohim is not meat and drinks, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Spirit. For he that in these things serveth the Mashiach is acceptable to Elohim and approved of men. Let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace and things wherewith one may edify another.
Right. So that means we may have to stop certain things or back up on something else so that there can be peace among the whole body. Go ahead.
For meat destroy not the work of Elohim. All things indeed are pure, but it is evil for that man who eats with offense. It is good neither to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby my brother stumbles, or is offended, or is made weak.
Look at that. So We say, well, we got the right to drink wine. But then you may have some people who have a drinking problem. Bro, you can't drink in front of them people. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how good your tolerance is. This brother has an issue. And then you brought the drink around him. To you, you may take you a sip and you good. That brother been drinking since yesterday. You gave him one, he got that one smell. Oh, what's it? Ooh, what's that? Is that some Yak 95? Is that Yak 95? What? Do you know what year this is? Yeah, I can smell because 96 smell different. What? Oh, you done started something now. Now you done started something. Now you done gave him just a little shot. Tomorrow, he's staggering down the street. And you pull up on your brother and say, what's wrong? You look dizzy. It was that Yak 95, brother. It started me on a cycle. And I couldn't get off. Now, was it worth it? When you see your brother stumbling in the middle of the street, was it worth it for you to enjoy yourself for that moment? And the next day, he about to get hit by a car because he ain't got sense enough to step out the street. Was it worth it? Go ahead.
Have you faith? Have it to yourself before Elohim. Happy is he that condemns not himself in that thing which he allows. And he that doubteth, and he that doubteth is damned if he eat, because he eats not of faith. For whatsoever is not of faith is sin.
All right, keep going. I want to go to verse 7.
We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak.
Wait a minute. Now we read, every man must bear his own burden. But when we are given a certain amount of power, do we think about that only as it pertains to what we can give or what we can partake in? What happens when Yahweh has given you strength, not just for you, but the strength is also for other individuals around you? You said, yeah, I'm strong. Right. That's why you the only brother I put on that side. There 3 brothers on this side. You gonna carry that whole side. I'm gonna get them other 2 brothers to go do something else. I don't need 2 more brothers on your side. You can hold that by yourself. That's a waste of resources. Go ahead.
And not to please ourselves. Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good, to edification.
Do we consider any of that? Are we dismayed in well-doing? Does it bother us? Go ahead.
For even Yahshua pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproached you fell on me.
Consider that. Yahshua wasn't getting the reproach from himself right away. It was really these people had a problem with Yahweh. They didn't like Yah's ways, and they took it out on who they saw. And any person who decided to sit in one of these seats, that's what you're going to get. The indignation that people have with Yahweh's way, come on, whoever sit in the seat. Go ahead.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Now the Elohim of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one toward another according to Yahshua HaMashiach.
Now, the Elohim of patience and consolation. Do we understand what patience and consolation is? See, when we going through something, we want patience. And understand when I say we include everything in your house. See, sometimes you have folk, well, you know what, I ain't never went through nothing. Wait, you married, right? Your wife went through it, right? Well, then everybody had patience with you and your wife then. Because see, that was connected to you. Where's the same patience that people have for you and your wife when it comes down to this brother over here? Do he not deserve the same patience that was given to you? Or are you just that much better than him? Go ahead.
that you may with one mind and one mouth glorify Elohim, even the Father of our Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach. Wherefore receive you one another, as Yahshua also received us to the glory of Elohim.
Wherefore receive you one another as the Mashiach also received us. Sometimes that's a hard thing. Let's go to John chapter 5. Nobody said we're going to be easy now. But what is worth having that really is that easy? Yohanan chapter 5, and we're going to read verses 1 through 8.
After this, there was a feast of the Yehudis, and Yahshua went up to Jerusalem. Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In this lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season in the pool, and troubled the water. Whosoever then first, after the troubling of the water, stepped in, was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. And a certain man was there, which had an infirmity 38 years. When Yahshua saw him lie, and knew that he had been now a long time in that case, he says unto him, Will you be made whole? The impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man, when the water is troubled, to put me into the pool, but while I'm coming, another steps down before me.
Nobody helps him. Everybody is considering themselves. He said, I can't get down fast enough when the angel comes. You have any idea what kind of torment that is? To see the water move. And nobody considered, hey, y'all hold on, man. He been like this 38 years. Y'all let him go in.
He like, that knuckle he better roll. Mm-hmm. He better roll because I'm going.
What happened? We worrying about our own healing. We not consider how long somebody else has been in the need of healing. Go ahead.
Yahshua says unto him, Rise, take up your bed and walk.
Rise, take up your bed and walk. Why? Because no one was going to forsake their own healing to be there for their brothers. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 8.
First Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 1. Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge.
All right, we have knowledge, but
knowledge puffs up, but love edifies.
Knowledge puffs up. We have this knowledge. We talk about idols. Now we have a certain level of understanding. We know what the idol don't really exist. This is something you made up in your mind. Go ahead.
And if any man think that he knows anything, he knows nothing yet as he ought to know. But if any man love Elohim, the same is known of him. As concerning therefore the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world. And that there is none other Elohim but one.
This is what we know. Go ahead.
For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and masters many. But to us, there's but one Elohim, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and our Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, by whom are all things, and we by him. Howbeit, there's not in every man that knowledge.
Howbeit, there is not in every man that knowledge. So are we going to deal with this just because you have a certain level of understanding? Just because you can do something and not have a problem? What about the individual who can't? Go ahead.
For some with conscience of the idol unto this hour eat as a thing offered unto an idol, and their conscience being weak is defiled. But meat commendeth us not to Elohim, No, for neither, if we eat, are we the better? Neither, if we eat not, are we the worse?
Right. So listen, we have this thing here. It says, man, we know the idol don't exist. Now that graphic right there, them cookies left out for Santa Claus. Now let's say you come over somebody's house, they got those Santa cookies out there. And boy, it's the chewy chocolate chip. Not them hard, them crunchy chocolate chip, they ain't that good. But when you get that chewy one, you know what I'm saying? That kind you break. And the chocolate, you just spread it out and it look like cheese. Boy, stop. And they got the milk right there. I mean the milk right there. Right there, right there. It's right there with the chewy chocolate. Now what happened when somebody see you with me, brother? Did you eat some Santa cookies? Bruh, Santa don't exist. But what happened if somebody see you eating it though? So is it about what happened? Or is it about the perception of what happened? We are told to stay away from all appearance of sin. Go ahead.
But take heed, lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
Uh-oh, now your liberty has become a stumbling block. So is it about you? Or is it about the other individuals who may stumble because of the things that they saw you do? So, man, I saw Sock over there at Honey Baked Ham. I mean, I know they sell turkeys, but surely he was getting a ham. Come on now, y'all know we gonna tell the narrative the way it fits us. Come on now. Come on.
The brother went over there to get no doggone turkey. It was called honey baked. They didn't call it honey baked turkey. They called it honey baked ham for a reason. That brother went over there for some ham. So I'm gonna go by there tomorrow and get me some ham.
Right. Go ahead.
For if any man see you, which has knowledge, sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols?
I seen what's your name them do it. I said I wasn't gonna hang out to the hood, but then I seen this dude, man, and he always be posting stuff on the internet about how he in the word. But then I saw him right there in the hood, right there at the car wash. I said, hell, I'm gonna go to the car wash too. It must be okay, cause that, you know what I'm saying, that dude who be putting all that stuff on Instagram, hell, he was out there. Go ahead.
And through your knowledge shall the weak brother perish, for whom Yahshua died. But when you sin, so against the brethren, and wound their weak conscience, you sin against Yahshua.
I'm sorry, bro, read that again.
But when you sin so against the brethren, and wound their weak conscience, you sin against Yahshua.
Right, you sin against Yahshua. Now, do we account that as a sin against Yahshua, or do we just account it as something that we did against a brother? Interesting. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 12.
Did you want to finish verse 13?
Go ahead, bro.
Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no flesh while the world stands, lest I make my brother to offend.
Right. That don't mean I'm going to stop that forever. I'm just going to stop that in the presence of my brother so that I don't offend my brother. So when we change the policy to no, co-ed embracing, hey man, that just applies here. I ain't got a damn thing to do with who you hugged out down there at the gas station. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But brothers and sisters won't be hugging up in here. But why? So that I don't have any brothers offended when people, you understand, people from different parts of the country, we got different people who from different parts of the country right here in this room. Each one of them cultures operate differently. At least a brother come off wrong on yours, and then it goes down right here. Brother said, man, what? Bro, you supposed to hug, but you gripped.
We grip where I'm from.
What? Yeah, well, we stumped where I'm from. You know what I'm talking about all day and day. You know what I'm talking about? You gonna find out today. You gonna find out today. Right. Okay. 2 Corinthians chapter 12. And let's read verses 1 through 10.
It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Adonai. I knew a man in Yahshua above 14 years ago, whether in the body, I cannot tell, or whether out of the body, I cannot tell. Elohim knows. Such a one caught up to the third heaven. And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. Elohim knows. How that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which it is not lawful for a man to utter. Of such an one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in mine infirmities. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he sees me to be, or that he hears of me. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations.
Now, the abundance of the revelations, that means this individual, this brother had so many good things going that a thorn was given to humble this individual. Go ahead.
There was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure.
Least I should be exalted above measure because of all the other things that I can do. Now, we would look at that strangely. Man, the brother got all this. But then the brother got this thorn. Were we the type who would have gotten rid of Saul because he had a thorn? Well, if we do, we're going to have to throw away the majority of this right here. Let's just go ahead and take this right here and just throw it. Because he had a thorn. Keep reading.
For this thing I besought the Adonai 3 times, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for you.
I asked the Adonai 3 times. I prayed about this thing, and he refused to remove it. He refused. He made him walk in it. That means you got to learn how to deal with the thorn. You got to learn the thorn ain't gonna go nowhere. You got to learn how to work around the thorn. You got to know, all right, my thorn getting thorny. You got to know, you know what, time me to go. Why? Thorn getting thorny. I can tell you, I done fell enough times to know I'm in danger right now. But see, our arrogance said, man, come on, man, you stay out a little longer. I mean, come on now. You're a grown man. you can handle it. This ain't nothing but a little something. In the morning, now don't come crying now. Don't come crying now. You heard all them things in your left ear saying, You heard it. You heard it. You kept going past it. You got to learn how to deal with the thorn. I ain't taking it away. You gonna learn how to walk with it. I gave you all this other stuff. I ain't taking that away. You gonna walk in it. And practice at 10. You better have your ass here. Go ahead.
For my strength is made perfect in weakness.
My strength is made perfect. You gonna be here. And ain't no waiting for me to take it out. Learn how to walk in it. And you might look up one day and not even notice. Damn, it's gone. But you're waiting to walk. You're waiting for it to be gone for you to start walking. That ain't how that works. You're going to learn how to walk in it. And when you learn how to walk in it, then he might take it away. Good, brother. Did you finish that?
Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in mine infirmities, that the power of Yahshua may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distress for Yahshua's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong.
All right. When I'm weak, then I am strong. Why? Because now I got to depend on strength that don't belong to me. See? When I'm strong, then I can do it on my own accord. I can do it myself. But when I'm weak, I got to depend on strength that don't come from me. Now I'm getting some true strength. Because the strength I got now that I'm working with, that ain't mine. There ought to be some times that you look back at some situations and circumstances and realize, you know what? I've been with me for a long time. I don't have the ability to do that right there. That wasn't me. There have been some times that you should be able to look back and say,
In my normal self, that brother would have been dead. But he's still living. I realized something. That was not me. Because he shouldn't be here.
and if you don't see some of them, you ain't looking right. You got to know yourself. And see, some of us are so arrogant about our own accomplishment.
Surely I did that. I can do that.
No. That wasn't you. You don't know your own limitations. That wasn't you. There's countless numbers of things that I can look back and say, I ain't do that. I didn't do that. I don't know who helped me do that, but I didn't do that. I don't have the ability to do that. I know that I didn't do that. Let's go to Matthew chapter 17. Matthew chapter 17, and we're going to read verses 14 through 21.
And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Adonai, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed. For oftentimes he falleth into the fire, and often into the water.
First of all, will we have the soundness in ourselves to go and publicly admit that we have a son that has a problem? Because, we come from that generation where we hide things, But we try to act like ain't no issue. Go ahead.
And I brought him to your disciples, and they could not cure him. Then Yahshua answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation.
Now, who are you talking to? Either way it goes, it's some hurt people in the presence. This man is pouring out his heart, talking about his son. The very next words that come out of Yahshua's mouth, oh, faithless and perverse generation. He didn't say group. He said generation. Damn it, we all living right now, right? Okay. There's a whole lot of hurt feelings. Now, some people can turn around and they gone right here.
I came to you for a healing, and the words that came out of your mouth was faithless and perverse. When?
But this person had an objective. The objective is, I'm going to go through whatever I need to go through to heal my baby. Go ahead.
How long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Yahshua rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him. And the child was cured from that very hour.
That very hour, not that very minute. Go ahead.
Then came the disciples to Yahshua apart.
Go ahead.
And said, why could not we cast him out?
Now, Yahshua deals with this. Go ahead.
And Yahshua said unto them, because of your unbelief.
Because of your unbelief. You didn't believe you can do it. You were already lost before you started. That's why the book said, when you get ready to go to war and you got those who are fearful among you, get them out from among you. Because they are going to tarnish your campaign. Why? Because they don't even believe before you started. Now you have to pay attention. Why? Before we ever set foot or kept one Sabbath day, Yahweh was already making and separating people. He said, if they got fear among you, that fear that they have is going to spread among everybody else in there. So Yahweh had already started saying, no, no. Because when you got a building campaign going on, or you got some war happening, the little bit of doubt that is in one individual will spread to many individuals, and now none of the progress is happening. So Yahweh said, those ones that's got fear, get them out from among you, because they're going to cause you some problems. And then Yahweh exposes who those are who have the fear. You didn't even know that. You didn't know that they were walking in fear. Yahweh did. And he causes them to expose themselves so you can sit them to the side. Hey, maybe when we get through building, you can come back, but you can't be while we building. Because your fear causes us problems. Go ahead.
For verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit, this kind goes not out but by prayer and fasting.
After he says all that, he then tells them, oh, but I mean, by the way, this kind goes not out but by prayer and fasting. So you just fussed at us, but we wasn't going to win no way.
Yeah, that's what it is.
This kind goes not out but by prayer and fasting. So when we then get into some instances where we have some issues, or some instances where we claim we need deliverance or whatever, how much prayer and fasting have you done about it? Or we just pray and fast just to pray and fast? You ask somebody, what you fasting for? I'm just fasting to be fasting. That's an idiot fast. That's the fast of an idiot. You don't have no purpose. What you fasting for?
Well, I just like to fast every now and then. You're doing the, you know what I'm saying? Normally my family fasts around this time, so I fast.
What? You have to wonder, they came to Yeshua, they said, a certain disciples fast, but your disciples don't fast. He said they can't fast while the bridegroom is with them. They can't fast until I'm gone. So I ask people, what is the purpose of the fast that you're supposed to be fasting? Right. Go ahead, brother. You finished that?
Yep.
Let's go to James chapter 5. James chapter 5, and we're going to read verses 13 through 20.
Is any among you afflicted? Let him pray. Is any merry? Let him sing psalms. Is any sick among you?
Is any sick among you? Do you have an issue? Go ahead.
Let him call for the elders of the church, and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of Yeshua.
All right, whose responsibility it is to make that call?
You.
Let him call. But see, then we have to actually come outside of our own pride and admit that we're having an issue. And see, sometimes we can't come out of our own pride. Because, see, when we praying about something by ourselves, we're praying singularly. Maybe you've done something that Yahweh won't hear your prayer. But he might hear your brother. He might hear your sister. What happened if multiple people are then praying for you for that thing? He didn't hear yours, but if he just hear one of them. But that means we got to come outside of that pride and say, excuse me, y'all, but I got a thorn and I need some help with it. Go ahead.
And the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the adnate shall raise him up. And if he have committed sins, they shall be forgiven him.
Not because of he himself, but because of the people that he got to pray for. Go ahead.
Confess your faults one to another.
See, to actually get prayer, you got to be able to confess your faults, which is the first thing that we have a problem with. We can't admit that we did anything wrong. So we lie upon lie upon lie so we can hide that we did anything. That's why we can't get to step one. You ain't figuring out, man, been dealing with this same issue 5, 6, 7, 8 years. That's because you can't pass step one. You're going to be there 5, 10 more years. I mean, at some point, if you keep going to kindergarten and keep turning around and going back to kindergarten, eventually some people are going to say,
You know, that's a big old kindergarten. That guy's huge. Eh?
yeah, but there's a reason for that, ma'am. He like 15. You know what I'm saying? He just keep going to kindergarten. I don't know why. He's absolutely afraid to go to the first grade. So he like a kindergarten genius, you know. Read, bro.
And pray one for another, that you may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. Elias was a man subject to like passions as we are, and he prayed earnestly that it might not rain. And it rained not on the earth by the space of 3 years and 6 months.
So it matter who you get to pray for you. This is why my elder said he learned to keep his prayers to himself. Because see, sometimes you can pray for somebody. That person get healed. And then they go and say, thank you, Jesus. And then Yahweh hurt them worse than they were before. You learn. Keep some of your prayers to yourself. Because what they going to do once that they're healed? Who they going to give that to? Go ahead, bro.
And he prayed again, and the heaven gave rain, and the earth brought forth her fruit. Brethren, if any of you do err from the truth, and one convert him, let him know that he which converteth the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death, and shall hide a multitude of sins.
Right. These are things that the angels rejoice in. Let's go to Matthew chapter 27. Matthew chapter 27, and we're going to read verses 24 through 32.
When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See you to it. Then answered all the people and said, His blood be on us and on our children.
They didn't really understand what they were saying, but they were so right. Go ahead.
Then released he Barabbas onto them.
Right. This is how Israel operates. Israel will accept a murderer and reject the Savior of mankind. This is the nature of your people. Go ahead.
And when he had scourged Yahshua, he delivered him to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yahshua into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. And when they had platted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Yehudis! And they spit upon him, and took the reed, and smote him on the head. And after that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him, and put his own raiment on him, and led him away to crucify him. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simeon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross.
Him they compelled to bear his cross. He couldn't carry his own burden. Somebody had to bear that for him. There's some times that I think we kind of forget some things that at a point he couldn't carry that, and somebody carried it for him. Let's go to Galatians chapter 6. So this is where we have to learn to deal with things in a righteous manner. So there's certain things that Yahweh want us to nip right in the bud. There's other things that we have to be merciful with. We have to learn what those things are. Galatians chapter 6, and we're going to read verses 1 through 10.
Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, you which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering yourself, lest you also be tempted.
You know, that word meek is interesting, because people think meekness and humbleness is equal to quiet. So they'll see somebody quiet and say, that brother humble. That brother ain't humble worth a damn. He just ain't said nothing. All them foul ass thoughts is still going right here. They just ain't came out this way. And as soon as they talk, you'll hear them. That brother just murdered 8 people in that sentence. Right? They might not have talked for 4 hours, but the one thing they said you can hear. Dang. Stop thinking that quiet means humble. You're absolutely incorrect. It don't mean meek. And people think meek mean weak. Boy, that brother's a calm, docile person. No, that ain't what that means. It said Moshe was the meekest man on the earth. You know how many people Moshe killed? Right. Keep thinking meek mean weak. And quiet mean humble. You don't get yourself murked. What you gonna do? Go ahead, brother.
Bear you one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Yahshua. For if a man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceives himself. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teaches in all good things. Be not deceived. Elohim is not mocked. For whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap.
Right. So Yahweh may present a situation. Watch how you deal with it. Then let the same situation happen to you. In a different way, of course, because you don't have the same weakness. But then see if you respond the same way when it happened in your house. Now, wait a minute. Now, when it happened in this brother's house, you were like Thor. You threw the hammer and it came back. You couldn't find your hammer though when it happened in your house. What? Oh, Yahweh pays very much so attention to that. Oh, he said, wait a minute. You don't have a just weight and a just balance. Because I expect that same hammer that you have for your brother. I expect you to swing that same hammer that same way in your house. And the same forgiveness that you had in your house, I expected you to have that same forgiveness for your brother.
Isn't
Go ahead.
Isn't that the same thing that we did when he put forth his judgment when he heard the story?
Automatically, this man shall die.
Oh, wait a minute, it's me. Oh, I think we should hug that person and tell them, and, you know, and talk to them, you know, and maybe tell them, you know what I'm saying? You know, don't be doing that no more. Maybe that's that. Maybe.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
For he that sows to his flesh shall of his flesh reap corruption, but he that sows to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Let us not be weary in well doing.
Are we tired of doing good? Have we gotten upset with doing? Is doing good bothering us?
I've been doing good since last Thursday.
I mean, is it doing good bothering us? Go ahead.
For in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
If we faint not. So we have to remember some of those words that we say, you know, be strong, persevere to the end, right? And Yahweh gonna make you say that same stuff to yourself. Go ahead.
As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith.
So we are supposed to have a extra level of goodness toward one another. At the end of the day, that's who or how we figure out who is family and who are not. We're supposed to have an extra level. When we get tired, we got one more line. Why? Because we're supposed to show even more toward the household of faith than we do with anybody else. We're supposed to be good to all men. Let's go to Matthew chapter 18.
You know, Elder, when you think about it, the whole snake is judgment. That was even in Saul's time, because remember when he was on the ship and the serpent snatched on his hand? That was
They automatically said what?
Yep.
What did they say?
Judgment.
They say he's a devil.
Yep.
They said first they said this man's a devil. Obviously a devil. You know what I'm saying? This viper just jumped out and
Latched on his hand. He just shook the judgment off. After that, they was like,
he's a god. We want to worship you. Oh my God.
right. Matthew chapter 18. And we're going to start at verse 19.
Again, I say unto you, that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven.
Right. So when you understand that he's dealing with these disciples about these things, they may have to alter some things in the churches. You have that authority. That don't mean people weren't going to get mad at them. Go ahead.
For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them.
Now you have to be careful about this. This is what, a lot of the vagabond Jews, the hippie Jews, they like to use this
to say, we just bounce around the earth, man. We like Caine from Kung Fu. We just go to places, and as long as we keep 2 or 3 of us, we don't say the Spirit is with us.
That's what they believe. So they just go from place to place and they swear the Spirit with them. They didn't understand that he's talking about who he talking to and what he talking about. They think that just apply to anybody. So as long as they can get 2 more fools, they think the Spirit is there. You have seriously deceived yourself. Go ahead.
Then came Cephas to him and said, Adonai, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times?
Well, you know what? I've been doing good for a long time. I've been, come on there, sure, surely it ought to be time me to go ahead and punch my brother in his face, right? Because, I've been doing good. I told you I've been doing good since last Thursday.
Surely it's time, right? Go ahead.
Yahshua says unto him, I say not unto you until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
How much that is? 70 times 7. How much that is? Y'all sure? Y'all sure you got your Texas instrument with you? I'm trying to see what 70 times 7 is.
Y'all know that ain't a real number. Stop trying to add it. Stop trying to multiply. That's like the black number of 5011. It's not a real number. 5011 does not mean 5,011. All right, 5011 means, damn it, it was a whole lot of, okay? That what 5011 means. How many people was out there, boy, about 5011? It was 5,000. See, you got to be careful who you talk to. You talk to a Gentile, oh my God, it was 5,011 people out there? No, man, no, that was a black number. You just went white with it. You just went white with it. Don't go white with it. Stay black. 5011, it was just a lot of them, all right? It's not a real number, man. So stop trying to count the number. All right. So you trying to get your accounting on. You had already figured out 70 times 7 mean. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Put your ledger down. Go ahead, bro.
But it's like you said, it depends on where you at, where certain things mean different things. Because we got a brother here say, go, there go 12. You down south, somebody say 5-0.
Right. I said they all talking about the police, but they got different terms for it. Go ahead.
Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him, which owed him 10,000 talents. But for as much as he had not to pay, his master commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children, and all that he had, and payment to be made.
You understand that this debt didn't just include him, it said his wife and his children. So understand, the mercy likewise that Yahweh has shown you also extends to your wife and your children. So when we consider that we don't want to offer that same thing, no, don't just take it away from you. Take it away from your wife. Take it away from your children too. That's what we're doing when we decide that we don't want to have that same type of leniency for our brother or our sister. Go ahead.
The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Adonai, have patience with me, and I'll pay you all. Then the master of that servant was moved with compassion and loosed him and forgave him the debt. But the same servant.
See, it is amazing some of the times when I see how hard people come at individuals, and I myself was like, well, wait a minute now. I'm just thinking about myself and the damn things that I done forgave you about. How the hell you can throw a hammer at somebody else? I can't even count what Yahweh done forgave you of, but damn it, I know what I forgave you of. How the hell you so easy to throw that hammer at your brother? Read.
And found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence. And he laid hands on him and took him by the throat.
Laid hands on him and took him by the throat. We'll just do that with our mouth. But what does a snake do? Bites. We're not speaking to a brother to get him to change. We bite him. Go ahead.
Saying, pay me that you owe. And his fellow servant fell down at his feet and besought him, saying, have patience with me, and I'll pay you all. And he would not, but went and cast him into prison till he should pay the debt.
Now, and know that that's not how he was dealt. Know that he was given leniency. Know that he was shown mercy. Had none of that available for his brother. None of it. Not even a little. Understanding all the stuff that was forgiven of you. And you were forgiven way more than what your brother has done. There ain't none of that left in you. None. Go ahead.
So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry.
See, now this is where it goes. It ticks off the other people in the room. Because you know what? There's other people in the room that say, I know what you was forgiven of. See, everybody might not know, but I know specifically what you were forgiven of. I know it by name. See, I just happened to be in a room when some things happened, so I know what you were forgiven of. oh, it's wrong what you're doing to your brother. That's how it floats back. Go ahead.
And came and told unto their master.
Came
all
and
that was
told.
done.
Not the individual. Some other people standing by say, man, look. You remember that guy you forgave all that stuff, man? All that stuff that this guy did unto you. And I mean, boy, he did some stuff unto you. And you forgave him? Do you see what he did to his brother? It's bothering the people. This is not the brother coming back. This is the various individuals. See, you don't know who done sat back and just watched. They ain't said nothing. They just sat back and they watched. And they watched all the things that happened and watched. Wow, man. I can't believe you forgave that. But they watched long enough to see something else. Now they are greatly offended. Because they expected for surely this person is going to be lenient and show mercy, because surely they remember the great mercy that was shown unto them. Surely they're going to be merciful. Go ahead.
Then his master, after that he had called him, said unto him, O you wicked servant, I forgave you all that debt because you desired me.
I forgave you all of it because you asked. Go ahead.
Should not you also have had compassion on your fellow servant, even as I had pity on you? And his master was angry and delivered him to the tormentors.
Now he done got the master angry. He wouldn't have been angry had there been the same kind of mercy shown that was shown to him. Go ahead.
Till he should pay all that was due unto him. So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if you from your hearts forgive not everyone his brother their trespasses.
Please don't think that that means that you're supposed to let your brother step all over you. That's not what we're saying. As it is written, if your brother sin against you, rebuke him. If he repent, forgive him. But the process still is the process. Sometimes we all in before the process has even begun. Let's go to Luke chapter 15. And when it say the spirit worketh patience, oh, that's real. Because I can tell you, coming in this word, I had no patience. Whatever zero was, I had less than that. The Spirit truly does work patience. Because I can tell you, there's some things that the Spirit has allowed for me to do that I can tell you, hey, before this word, we wouldn't have been sitting here like this. Y'all would have already seen a couple of fights. Maybe even a few shootouts. The Spirit truly does work patience. But you got to let it do what it do. You're going to fall along the way. Sometimes the Spirit lets some things happen so you can see, all right? You see what we're about to work on next, right? Sometimes what he just did was show you the syllabus. He just let you know. He let you go out. You do something stupid. You go all out. Then you realize, man, I did too much. Right. He just showed you the syllabus. You know what next week quiz is going to be on. This is what he's starting to work on next. Go ahead. Luke chapter 15, and we're going to start at verse 11.
And he said, a certain man had 2 sons.
Uh-huh.
And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falls to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered it all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living.
Right. That money was burning a hole in his pocket. There was smoke signals coming from the money before he got it. Go ahead.
And when he had spent all,
Uh-huh.
there arose a mighty famine in that land.
So now you got to understand, this is insult to injury. He done spent all his money. Now ain't no food for him even to buy, even if he had money. So he has a double problem now. He done wasted his inheritance, and there's a famine. So you ain't even got nothing to barter. Because once you get to a famine, money not good anymore. Now there are things like, okay, man, look, I need a tiller. Well, I need that goat. All right. Tiller for goat. Boom. But when you done wasted all your stuff, you don't have no money or no stuff to trade. Go ahead.
And he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country. And he sent him into his fields to feed swine.
And you notice now, when we go off to waste our living in a riotous fashion, we always go somewhere else. Because we don't, you know, surely there was harlots in the place where we were just at. But we don't want to, we don't want to be around those harlots because they know us. And surely we ain't gonna go down. We gonna go to the next county. I don't want no DeKalb harlots. I'm gonna go some Gwinnett ones. I waste my money with some Gwinnett harlots. Okay. Go ahead.
And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger?
Right, but you see what it takes sometimes to come to himself? Sometimes we got to lose everything for us to come to ourselves. Sometimes come to yourself is a thing that you got to be all by yourself to come to yourself. After he take everything, then here's this wonderful thought. You know what? Now, if you can get you know what before you lose everything, you might be able to keep some of your stuff. But you got to have that you know what moment quicker. Go ahead.
You know, also he's talking about going to somewhere else. That also allows us not to have anyone who's familiar with us to say, hey man, what you doing?
Right. Because we don't want to be corrected. We don't want to be told, I thought you told me you was a servant of Yahweh. I thought you told me you keep the Sabbath. I do. Well, damn it, ain't it Friday night? Why are you over here? It is the Sabbath. Don't look like you keeping it to me. And we don't want to be around nobody that's gonna tell us that. So we got some down grounds. See, we got some grounds where we can go. You know, well, don't nobody know us. Go ahead.
I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you.
Acknowledgement. Step number 1. This is why we can't get the process, because we can't get to step number 1. Go ahead.
And am no more worthy to be called your son. Make me as one of your hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off.
Now, this was him practicing what he was going to say. And understand what he was going to say. He know he is not at the level of son because he already wasted his inheritance. He said, just let me be one of your servants. Go ahead.
His father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight, and am no more worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. And bring hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found, and they began to be merry.
They are rejoicing that of this regathering of the lost son. Go ahead.
You know, brother, even in this situation, like you were saying, he's willing to start at a servant's level.
Right.
We'll do stuff and want to come back and be right.
We want to come right back where we were.
We want to come right back. You know, when I left, it was Thursday at 3:18. All right, let's just start back at Thursday 3:19.
The day Saturday, nigga. What's wrong with you? You don't get to go back to Thursday. Go ahead.
Now his eldest son was in the field.
Now, the elder son ain't heard none of this dialogue. Okay? Go ahead.
And as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing.
Uh-oh.
And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, your brother's come, and your father has killed the fatted calf, because he's received him safe and sound. And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him.
So now you got another brother angry, said, man, look at this dude. This dude done took and wasted all his money, and now y'all gonna throw a party for him? Go ahead.
And he answering said to his father, lo, these many years do I serve you, neither transgressed I at any time your commandment. And yet you neither gave me a kid that I might make merry with my friend.
You ain't gave me no goat. You go out here, he over there eating barbecue goat. They drinking wine and partying. I ain't never missed a day. You ain't throw me no party.
He upset. Go ahead.
But as soon as this your son is come.
This your son. Oh, no. We got an issue. Wait a minute. But this is the son who has wasted his inheritance. He took his money and wasted it with riotous living. And here it is, the brother who has not wasted his substance with riotous living is upset that he's being accepted. But herein lies where mercy stands. We count where we have not fallen, never considering your life ain't over yet. Keep reading.
Which has devoured your living with harlots. You have killed for him the fatted calf. And he said unto him, son, you are ever with me, and all that I have is yours.
Right. I don't need to throw a party for you. You are the party. I'm rejoicing because he has found himself. You, my son, have never lost yourself. You understand when you got a little kid, he ain't quite right. You got a little man not quite right. When man tie up his shoes, you congratulate God, man. You don't do that for the other little boy. He don't have the same problems as man. He been tying his shoe. Now, what did that kid get mad?
I tied my shoe, Daddy. You ain't never sing no song for me.
Man don't have the same abilities that you have. I'm not going to congratulate you because you've done the same things that man did. You don't have those things. He has a thorn that you don't have. And I'm going to need you to understand that. I'm not going to throw a party every time you do this. But I will for him. You're going to have to understand. Because I'm not going to discourage him to encourage you. Read, brother.
It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. For this your brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found.
All right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 26. Matthew chapter 26. And I want to read verses 69 through 75.
Verse 69. Now Cephas sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, You also was with Yahshua of Galilee. But he denied before them all, saying, I know not what you said.
Right. Now, we know that to deny the Mashiach is a very, very heavy thing to do. Yet, here this man is in a very bad situation, and we all want to say, you know, if I was alive during those times, I never would have denied Yahshua. We all got this view of ourselves, and it never does occur to us that how you see yourself is not how other people see you. Now, he's in a situation. Go ahead.
And when he was gone out into the porch, another maid saw him and said unto them that were there, This fellow was also with Yahshua of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man. And after a while came unto him they that stood by.
Now, he has already been told. He already has done it twice and still does not know that he has done it. This is when self-preservation, your own self-will, your own self has taken over. He does not even know what he has said yet. And he done said it twice. Go ahead.
And said to Cephas, Surely you also are one of them, for your speech bewrayeth you. Then began he to curse
And swear. Now he on level 3 with it. Go ahead.
saying, I know not the man. And immediately the cock crew.
He had to hear that sound. Now he heard that sound. Now the saying then came back to him. So 3 times he has gotten belligerent. This is what people do, you know, whenever we get caught in a lie. They get all angry. I told you I don't even know that man. Oh, you talking about that man? Right. And we think that being loud and nasty makes us more believable. But we do the same thing. We'll do it right now today. Just get loud and nasty and think that that's showing, you know, that I believe in this lie that I'm telling. Right. Go ahead.
And Cephas remembered the word of Yahshua, which said unto him, Before the cock crow, you shall deny me 3 times. And he went out and wept bitterly.
Now, the good part about that is the bad part, where he wept bitterly. Why? Because now he's at a point where he can be made better. He's weeping bitterly. He is upset that he has fallen. But sometimes it is the fall that gives you the power to be able to stand better. This weeping bitterly, sometimes this is the point that you got to get to so that you can stand. He says it's going to come a point where you're going to lower yourselves in your own sight. Why would that be desirable? Because now you can change. See, when you think everybody else just saying some stuff and that's just preach, man. He be exaggerating. You can't go through the change yet because you don't really think it's real. When you get to the point where you're weeping bitterly, now he got you where he needs you to be. Because he said, I could have brought you something, son, but you wasn't going to listen to me no way. I could have brought you something. You wasn't at the point where your heart was fertile ground. But when you get to that weeping bitterly part, now he said, now that ground is soft enough to receive the seeds that I'm going to throw at it. Whatever he got to do to get you to that weeping bitterly part. Now, we might not like what he got to do to get us there. But that's the place where your ground is fertile. That hard, brittle Georgia red clay ain't that growing in that. He said, no. I got to wet that and dig it up. See, it's better soil under that. See, that stuff that you got on the outside, that's that hard Georgia red clay. But it's some better soil down in there. But I got to dig to it. So pardon me, son, while I dig. This gonna hurt a little bit. But it's some good stuff under there. I just got to get to it. Go ahead.
You know, you got to think about the conversation with Yahshua and Cephas before this happened. We end up having the same thing when we're counseling people, where you're telling them stuff, but they got a rebut. It's the same thing when Yahshua said, man, you go deny me. He had a rebut. Nah, I'll never do that. Right? And then he had to go buck his toe and realize. And that's what we go through. We telling somebody something. No, y'all don't know me like that. Nah, I passed. I done been through that. Da. Okay. Back off. Go stub your toe and you'll figure it out.
Yep. And you know what? You learn as being a teacher that you have to learn when to step back. You can't teach somebody something that they're not ready to learn. So when you tell them something and they like,
No, you wrong, Colonel Sanders. Mama was right.
you know, you gotta back. you gotta learn. I'm just gonna back up and I'll wait. And then, you know, hey, it may be 1 month, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. They show up. Okay, now you're ready. Now I can have a conversation with you that I wanted to have 3 years ago. Now you might be able to hear me. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 24. Proverbs 24. And we're going to read verses 1 through 18.
Verse 1. Be not you envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. For their hearts studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief.
This is who we spend our chief time with. These are the people who we want to hang out with, the evil. We want to have what they have. We want to know what they know. Not knowing we setting ourselves up for destruction. Go ahead.
Through wisdom is an house built, and by understanding is it established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increases strength. For by wise counsel you shall make your war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety.
Only if you listen to them. It doesn't do you any good to have a multitude of counselors, but you, for some reason, and we always find a reason, don't need to accept the counsel. Go ahead.
Wisdom is too high for a fool. He opens not his mouth in the gate. He that devises to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men.
The thought of foolishness. See, this is one of the things that I tell you about individuals who may look humble. Just because you don't hear something coming out of their mouth don't mean the stuff that's going on in their head is in their heart. Don't get it twisted. Go ahead.
If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. If you forbear to deliver them that are drawn on to death, and those that are ready to be slain, if you say, behold, we knew it not, does not he that pondereth the heart consider it? And he that keeps your soul, does not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works? My son, eat you honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb, which is sweet to your taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto your soul. When you have found it, then there shall be a reward, and your expectation shall not be cut off. Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. For a just man falls 7 times.
A just man falls 7 times. Go ahead.
And rise up again.
But he keeps trying to get back up. It doesn't say that, this man is righteous. He has never fallen. Who the hell told you that? The righteousness in him makes him keep trying to stand back up. Go ahead.
But the wicked shall fall into mischief.
The wicked say, I'm down here. I'm just going to roll around on the ground. I don't need to get back up. Go ahead.
Rejoice not when your enemy falls, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles.
Do not throw a party when your enemy falls. Go ahead.
Lest Yahweh see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his anger from him.
Right. You caused the anger of Yahweh to be removed when you were pleased and happy at his fall. Go ahead.
That was it.
That was it. Well, hopefully, as we are going into these holy days, that as we begin to get to the point of pouring out our hearts unto our Elohim, that we would consider all of those things and consider the forgiveness that we would like to have for ourselves and our family, and make sure that we have that same thing available unto our brethren, so that when we do appear before our Elohim, that he will not be displeased at our appearance. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.